I think you are definitely the very first pilgrim that I've interviewed that lives in Sweden. So I
Okay.
wondered, so welcome. Thank you for agreeing to be here. I thought maybe we would start off with tell us a little bit about your background and what life is like for you in Sweden at this moment.
Okay. Thank you. So nice to be here. Yeah, Sweden, a cold country at this point of year, at least. It's I'm living down south, the very south of Sweden in Malmö, just opposite Copenhagen. And it's very humid here. So during the winter, even if it's like 0 degrees Celsius, it's freezing cold. It doesn't matter how you dress. When I was young, I lived far up north, and it was like minus 30 degrees, but it was dry, so it was perfectly okay. You could dress in the right way, and then you could be outdoors. So that's where I am. But I'm born in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden, which is like 60, no, not 60, 600 kilometers north of here. And Yeah, music has kind of been the central point of my life from the beginning. My father was a well, he was not a professional musician, but he was playing in his free time. He played the piano, he played the accordion. So I'm kind of grown up with music in the house, and he took me along when he was playing at parties and such stuff. He brought me along at an early age, and I tried to find out how to play the bass, how to play the guitar with him, and that was a fantastic school. And then later on, I met a music teacher at school who really got me started in playing. The reason why I'm down in Stockholm is I left I left Stockholm when I was 19, I think, yeah. And I went to a school just outside of Malmö, and I got a girlfriend, and I started playing with people in Malmö. So I decided to stay, and that's where I've stayed since. So
Wow.
yeah, and to say something about what's happening these days. I'm a musician like half time. I write songs, and I play a lot together with my wife, who is a full-time musician, playing in different settings. And I'm also a psychologist and a CBT therapist, having a private clinic for like 2 days a week. And actually, mostly musicians and artists and people working within the cultural field, so to say, which is very nice as I have a lot of experience. I've been freelancing as a musician earlier in my life for like 10 years. So I kind of specialized in that field. So
Fascinating.
uh,
Sounds really interesting.
that is it. Yeah, yeah, I really enjoy it. And two kids, they're grown up now, 21 and 24. My son just moved to Paris. He's 21, and my daughter lives with her boyfriend just like 20 kilometers from here. So
Oh, lucky you.
yeah.
Had you walked, like, was walking a part of your life, doing any other kind of long distance hiking or anything like that
Mhm.
prior to going on the Camino?
Yeah, a few times. And it's always been something that has attracted me, always something that I've been thinking of doing. And the few times I've done it, it meant a lot to me. It really has given me new experiences that I brought with me after that. I went to Nepal in that must be 1999, yeah, just before for 2000. And I spent a month there. I was curious also to travel on my own.
Mm.
I was I was 37 by then. I had never traveled alone, so I was really curious to do that. And I was walking like 14 days at the foot of the Himalayas,
Oh,
Mount Everest. So that's my kind of big first experience of walking a path. I mean, there were a lot of people walking there, so I met a lot of fantastic people also. That was great. And I've done a few after that, a few walks for a few days with together with friends. So
yeah. So how did you find out about the Camino?
I met Kristina Jacobsen 2 years before I went on the Camino. We met on a songwriters retreat here in Sweden on Gotland,
Ah, okay.
which is an island on the east side of Sweden. And that's a fantastic retreat also. We're not walking, we're staying, but in a beautiful landscape just by the water. And I was there for 2 years, and the first year, I think it was the last day. I had not been writing with Christina. We were not teamed up, but there was some connection. So the last morning of the retreat, we had breakfast together, and we really connected and started talking there. So next year, when we met there again, we did write together, and she told me also about this retreats along the Camino that she was arranging. So I think I just by impulse directly said I want to go because that was
Really?
so,
Oh, that's
yeah,
good.
it was so clear. That's yeah.
So you decide to go on this Camino retreat with Christina, and you guys walked in October of 2024.
Yes.
What kinds of expectations and fears and things like that ran through your mind? Because I feel like it's one thing to say, I'm going to go walk a Camino,
Yeah.
any long distance path. And I think this added a whole new layer because you weren't only going to just walk, but you were also going to sing songs, do
Mm-hmm.
songwriting. So, did you
Mm-hmm.
feel any vulnerability or any fears as you got ready to go?
Yeah, definitely. Fears, but fears teamed up with curiosity and yeah, definitely. I mean, it's. I think it's a vulnerable situation to do a thing like that, but it's also something that I'm very curious about, and my experiences are that it can be very developing. I mean, being in a group and especially being away from home, not doing anything of the usual stuff, or
Mhm. Yeah.
or working with what kind of is in your identity and etc. Things happen in those situations, and I mean, okay, I have a lot of knowledge about group processes as being a psychologist, but I mean that doesn't mean that you're immune towards what's happening. It can be really strong. So but I wouldn't say that the fears would never stop me, because it's the curiosity is maybe stronger. So I was really looking forward. But I have to say that co-writing, when it comes to songwriting, I mean, I tried it like a few times before, like I told you about the retreat at Gotland, but it was kind of new for me. So that was maybe what I most of all was maybe a little worried about. How was it going to be to write songs together
Mm.
with somebody that you do not know?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Mhm.
So I'm curious, as you were talking about that, a lot of our best thinkers in the world, if you look at like Beethoven,
Mhm.
Dickens, even Steve Jobs,
Mhm.
a lot of those people have said, and used walking as a way to spur creativity, to
Hmm.
time to think. So I'm just curious, how did that
Hmm.
play out for you? Did you find that the Camino was helpful in your creativity, your songwriting? What came up for
Hmm. Yeah, I would definitely say that it's helpful, that it's nurturing creativity. I guess it's a lot about stepping out of what your usual daily life.
you?
And I mean, being on a Camino, you're walking with, when you got your backpack with just the essential stuff you need. The focus is on going from point A to point B, and staying dry enough, and getting food, and maybe finding company if you do not have that. And so it's, I think it's down to basics. It's down you it's like connecting to the basics of life, what it's about.
Mm,
Food, shelter, company, and moving further. So I mean, leaving all things behind that are just your habitual daily, everyday life living. That makes it. I think that makes it easier to connect with what's really important, or things that you are trying to understand, or yeah.
wonderful. What surprised you the most about walking on the Camino?
Yeah, that's a good question. um I I really loved it, and I think I I don't know what an answer that is, but I think I asked myself, why has it taken me so long to to get out here again? Because this, I mean, like I said to you earlier, it's been something that I've been thinking about over the years. I really like to go out walking,
Mm,
and when it comes to Compostela de Santiago, I have friends who've been walking there, and they have told me their little bit of their stories, and every time I hear something like that, I get, wow, I want to do this.
yeah.
So I guess I've been busy doing a lot of stuff and working and so forth. But when Christina then told me, okay, this is a possibility, that's why I so directly just said, I want to go.
Yeah, yeah. That's so interesting, isn't it? That we're so attracted to it, but yet it takes
Mhm.
sometimes something else to prompt us to finally make that decision to go.
Mhm.
I find
Mhm.
that so interesting. I think for a lot of people, like it can be a sacrifice in many ways, like what else aren't you going to do so that you can make time to do it? Or,
Mhm.
what for you do you think was a sacrifice in order to be able to have that time to go and do this,
Mhm.
you know?
Well, as being a freelancing musician, and having my own practice as a psychologist, I mean, it's kind of easy for me once I've made a decision, it's not a big problem to reserve time to go. So it's not a sacrifice in that way. And I mean, my kids are grown up, and my wife is really understanding and very supporting. She also thought this sounded like a great idea. So not really a big sacrifice. It was just a matter, a question. Was more a question of just making my mind up and then
Mm.
doing it. So.
Yeah. Well, I always say to people, I think that there's a maybe a seed planted about the
Mm-hmm.
Camino.
Mm-hmm.
And then it just has to kind of sit for a while until it's really the
Mm-hmm.
right time for you to go. And this sounds like it was the
Mm-hmm.
perfect time for
Yeah.
you to go.
Yeah, I would guess so. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So in
And
this retreat, you
yeah,
walked, I think it was with 10 other pilgrims,
yeah.
and You guys were so great about leaving me messages
Mhm.
while you were walking. Sometimes it was while you were working on a song or so what. And I was really touched in particular about a couple of the messages that you left
Mhm.
for me. And I wanted to talk about them because I think they really brought up some special themes and I've really thought about them for some time. So I
Mhm.
want to play the first one that really stuck with me. And it was from, I believe, your day four. It was when you were, well, I'm going to let everybody hear the
Mhm.
voice
Great.
recording
Mhm.
so they can hear your own words. And then let's talk about what was going on at the moment.
Thursday and the fourth day of walking the Camino with Songs of Santiago. Fantastic people, a lot of warmth, a lot of talking and making music together. Very welcoming, very nurturing. And it's very intense. And something made me choose to walk by myself today. And I got company with a 15-year-old boy. The 15-year-old boy that I once was. And somehow I needed to have a talk with him and, yeah, give him some understanding and recognitions, telling him that he's okay and he can go alongside of me. Sometimes I'll have to gently, with a warm hand, tell him not to pop up and try to get whatever he is missing. And I'm just telling him, it's okay, you're all right, you can walk alongside of me. And the fantastic thing happened just a few minutes ago that I met this French man. We were talking for a while, very nice, and I even managed to talk in French for a short while with him. Wow. And then he told me his reason for being on the Camino. And that was because when he was 15 years old, he met a much older man who was very enthusiastic about the Camino. And so this Frenchman made a promise to himself that one day I will walk the Camino. And now I think he was 75, and he's doing it 60 years after the promise. So I guess both of us were in company today with our 15-year-old selves. Very nice. That's it for today. Thanks.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I can remember. I can remember that day now when we're listening to it.
Yeah. What comes up for you hearing that message? That was
Mm.
October 2024, and
Yeah.
here we
Yeah.
sit in
Mm.
2026,
Mm.
January 30th.
Yeah.
How does that hit you when you hear it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how that came to be. I think there was something, I don't think it was an actual prompt for the walk, but it was something that we had been talking about, the possibility, I guess, to connect to to yourself in earlier days. And I think that just stuck with me and I think I decided, like I said in this audio clip, I decided to walk on myself, and I think that was. Uh, I mean, we've been talking about the that it can be quite intense to be meet a group of people and to walk and live with them and also in this case writing songs together for like more than a week. I think it was 10 days. And so I just needed to be alone for one day. And I think that's a good thing to get perspective on what's happening.
Yeah.
in the group, and I just to make it short and kind of clear what I think that was about. It was something about this 15-year-old part of me wanting to be seen, to be heard, to be recognized, and have be in the centrum of the group, of course very understandable to want that, but as more grown-ups, we know that we must in some way in a group, uh, yeah, behave in a way that makes both the group and yourself work, and so I think I yeah, I understood there was something probably that had happened the day before when I felt something, maybe that I wanted to have more attention or whatever. And I could relate that to myself as a 15-year-old, and I could have some understanding also for why I needed that or why I wanted that when I was 15 years old, and that it was kind of still with me. But
Mm.
but now I'm grown up, and I can deal with it another way. But I can also say to that 15-year-old part of myself, it's okay, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, what a powerful moment to
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, it was. I remember it was really so. Yeah, and I can remember that clearly when I hear your the audio clip here, and yeah, I was a very small boy when I was like 15.
Yeah.
I was definitely what we sometimes call a late bloomer. Uh,
Ah, okay.
I had a great time in those years, 14, 15, 16 years of age. It was all about music, and it was just exploding. But I was very late in my development, and that was
Mhm.
kind of a struggle for me. I had a really good time. I was meeting a lot of friends and playing, and I was on stage at that early, but still feeling kind of different or awkward. Uh,
Yeah.
so that was a struggle for me, and I think it was things like that showed up on the Camino in the group. So
Yeah, wow.
yeah.
Would you say it was a healing moment for you, for this
Mm,
15-year-old
yeah,
to finally be seen and heard in this
yeah,
kind of way?
yeah. I think that's a reasonable way to put it. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it felt very good. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, what a great meditation idea or
Mhm.
prompt for
Yeah.
anyone that's walking to go
Hmm.
back, and examine maybe our childhoods or some
Yeah.
period of time in our life.
Yeah.
Or more than likely, it's just going to come up naturally, maybe something that hasn't been seen or dealt with for some time.
Mm-hmm.
What really struck me that day as I heard your message was first, I loved you talking to this 15-year-old boy still within you. But then the synchronicity, sometimes we call it Camino magic,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
With
That
it.
all of a sudden comes this pilgrim. He's not a
Yeah.
part of your group.
No.
You've
True.
chosen this day to walk by yourself.
Hmm.
You've already been doing this exercise,
Hmm.
unplanned, it's just happening. And this pilgrim,
Hmm. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
story
That was
he
that was
tells you.
yeah. That was really. I just dropped my jaw, and yeah. He's telling this, and we could share that we're both had doing something that in that moment related to ourselves as 15 years old. Uh, yeah, that was kind of magic. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got chills right now, and I've heard that
Yeah.
message numerous times. But I
Yeah.
feel it's like one of those pinch me moments. I mean, the fact that he was so specific
Hmm.
that it was his
Mhm.
15-year-old self, right?
Mhm.
Like when he first
Yeah,
heard
yeah,
about it. It's just,
yeah.
yeah, I think it's a little bit of Camino magic. And I think about the healing opportunity for the both of you in that situation,
Mm, mhm,
the sharing, the
mm,
camaraderie that
mhm, mhm,
occurred at that point.
mm,
Pretty remarkable. Did
mm.
any songs come from that or any creative things arise from that moment for you?
I'm not sure, especially, but I mean, I do write songs very much out of myself. It's not totally what do you say, biographical, but but I always more or less write out of my own experience. I think that's very common I mean, being in the genre of singer-songwriters
Sure.
is most often something at least connected to an experience that you had, and then maybe you can may extend the story. Uh, so I have written a few songs that connects to my childhood, definitely. Yeah.
Mm, mm. All right, well, let's move on to another point in the walk where you left me a message.
Day 5 on Songs of Santiago. Today I got into a very special and fantastic songwriting process. I was teamed up with Felix and we got this prompt, place. And we went to a cafe and sat down and had a coffee. We started talking about the song we were going to write, but we also got into a very open and sincere conversation about ourselves and what was happening in our lives right now, back home, but also emotionally within us, what was happening now, being on a journey like this. And the conversation was just flowing, and gradually it slipped into a songwriting process. We wrote down words and phrases out of what we were talking about, and we suddenly realized that, oh, but this is a lot of material. And I think we wrote the song in about 2 hours. It was called Bye for Now, but for now it was called. And it was kind of several layers or levels being present at the same time. I mean, we were having this fantastic conversation, but the song was also about having a conversation man to man by the coffee table. And I don't think I ever had a process like this. I'm rather new with collabs. I've been writing songs on my own for many years, but only the 2 last years has been co-writing. And it was so flowing all the time, and it really learned me a lot. Great, I'm really looking forward to continue this and to write a new song tomorrow. Good night.
Yeah, 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 Felix. That day was really that was super nice day, and I really got to know Felix that day, and he's such a nice person. And I mean, he's living in New Mexico, and he's a very busy musician. He's performing several days a week. He's a hardworking musician, really, but very genuine in his music. So it's great.
Yeah, well, I hope to have Felix on the show as well.
Yeah, that sounds. Mm.
So, this moment for me in
Mhm.
listening, when I heard that message that day, I didn't know your background, okay? Right.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I just knew you were on this singer-songwriter retreat and you were on the Camino. And I had been hearing Felix's messages every day, hearing
Mhm.
yours. And then all of a sudden, I get this message about this experience with the two of you, right? And My first thoughts, and even now hearing it again, as a woman, as someone who'd probably love to be a therapist, right?
Mm,
But when I heard this for the first time, and even now, I was so struck by what I think the Camino brings to every pilgrim that walks, brings an
mm,
opportunity to potentially share your story and to be
mm,
heard.
mhm, mhm,
But in particular, on your message that you left, I was so struck that, we always hear that men don't have a lot of people just to talk with. I think
mhm,
stereotypically we find, or at least in, out in the
mhm,
world, we think that
mhm,
women seem to have more support from a friendship basis to share, and we tend to talk more with one another. But men don't seem to get that kind of opportunity.
mhm.
And when I heard this message, I thought, oh my gosh, here's two guys out on the Camino having this talk. And you later changed actually the title of the song to Hearts on the Table, right?
True, true. Yeah, and we recorded it. Yeah. Mhm,
And then you came back and you guys recorded the song, which I'll let you tell this story. But now that I know that you were also a therapist, I mean, come on, let's
mhm.
let's break this down. Like, tell me your thoughts about all of this. Like two men getting to share, what does walking do to help us be able to share our stories? I'm
Mhm,
just so curious to hear your
mhm,
take on all this
mhm,
now hearing this message again.
mhm. Well, you were asking about vulnerability earlier on, and I I guess we both felt safe in the possibility of being in our vulnerabilities and to share uh, our life situations and probably also a longing of for doing that and and I mean, this day we were giving the opportunity to, okay, hey, you guys are going to write a song, so you got the day here.
Mhm.
So we were not walking that day, and we could just decide whatever, and we went to this cafe and sat down, and I think we both felt safe, and once again, being in a situation like that where everything in the normal daily life is kind of gone. It's taken away. Yeah, I mean, either you can take the chance and be in that moment and show yourself, or if it feels scary, you can always hide away. But we we did connect very easily, and yeah, I think definitely that's one of the reasons why I'm sure I'm going to go back on a Camino walk, whether it's a songwriting retreat or not, because those sincere, open moments when you connect to somebody, yeah, that's kind of fantastic, I think.
Yeah. Now, so the day before was the day that you reconnected with your 50
Yeah,
self.
yeah. So maybe I was that helped up that I was in connection with myself and with my vulnerability, and it was okay. So
Do
that
you
probably
remember what section of the Camino you were on that day for? Was that after you guys had reached Cruz de Ferro, or was it before?
let's see. I'm not sure, but I think it was right after. It must been. It was very close. Either it was right after or right before. I I have to say I've forgotten some of the name of the villages that we stayed in.
Yeah, yeah,
I think the day that I was passing Cruz de Ferro was the day that I was in company of my 15-year-old. I think that makes sense. Yeah.
yeah. So you guys end up writing this song together called Hearts
Mhm.
on the Table. You later perform it on the retreat itself.
Yeah. Hmm.
Then post-retreat,
Mhm.
you end up meeting back up together and you actually
Yeah,
record the song professionally.
yeah. Mhm.
So, share with us a little bit about how all that process came about and the feelings that maybe you had on retreat when you were singing it
Yeah,
together and
yeah.
then when you actually recorded it professionally.
Mhm. Yeah. I think we both really strongly felt that this is a song that meant a lot to us, and we got some very nice feedback from the other participants when we were performing it and so forth. So we already on the Camino made a decision that we have to record this song. I'm having a recording studio, a smaller recording studio at home here in Sweden. So I started working on the song there, and I sent some material over to Felix. I mean, it's so easy to collaborate digitally, sending tracks and so forth back and forth. So Felix, I was recording the bass of it here, and then I sent it over to Felix. And in New Mexico, he recorded his vocals and his harmonica and sent it back. So then I could produce the song here. And in the summer, last summer of 25, Felix was coming over to Europe, and we met up for like 10 days. I met him in Berlin, and we went to Holland, and we went to Vienna. And we actually had some small gigs there also. So we performed the song there also live. That was super nice. Yeah, I really got a very good friend on this Camino. I guess that's something that, I mean, you making a podcast about the Camino, I guess that's quite common that people meet up and they really
Yeah.
become close and find friendships that goes on.
Yeah, because that was the first time you and Felix had met, right? On
Yeah,
this
yeah,
retreat.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I had no idea who he was before.
Yeah, a real bonding moment that
Yeah, yeah,
has gone on to turn into a friendship. So that's really
yeah.
beautiful.
Mhm. It is. Yeah. That's super nice.
Now, for those of you wondering about these songs, if you
Mhm.
stick around to the end of the episode, you're going to hear a recording of the song by Stefan and Felix. So be sure to stay all the way to the end to hear their song, Hearts on the Table. I want to talk about another song that you wrote with someone else, and it was about forgiveness. You wrote a song with Jane Corns about forgiveness, and you
Oh,
guys performed this at your final
mhm,
concert when the
mhm,
retreat was ending.
mhm,
Forgiveness is often a topic for folks who walk the Camino to give forgiveness to
mhm.
ourselves or to someone
True.
else.
Mhm,
Sometimes we don't even plan it, it just happens.
mhm, mhm,
So when I heard your recording and both of you had left messages about it,
mhm.
talk to me a little bit about how forgiveness came up for you, if it did during the Camino.
It was really nice writing with Jane. We do we on this retreat and many songwriting retreats. We do not choose who we write with, but we are being teamed up by the leader, and I think that's good because then you might not end up with the most obvious one that you kind of share music ideas with or so. Uh, so. I'm not sure how the theme of forgiveness came in. Maybe it was part of a prompt. I'm not sure of that. But we were talking a bit. I think we had lunch and we were talking about what kind of song we were going to write.
Mhm.
And Jane is a very experienced writer. She's been writing books and stuff, and I think she also runs arranges retreats with for writing, both songwriting and other kind of writings. Um, so we were talking a bit, and then she said, "Okay, let's have a break here for an hour or two, and I have some ideas in my head, and I'm gonna go and write them down." So she did most of the lyrics on her own, and then she I think we had some musical idea already. But I took her lyrics and I started writing a melody and chords and such things around it, and then we tried it out in different ways. It was yeah. There was a songwriting process that really worked well also.
Well, that
Uh,
song, I listened to it
yeah.
several times. Um,
Okay.
yeah, have you guys thought about releasing it? Because I
Yeah.
actually really enjoyed the song. It really touched me. You know, a lot about forgiveness and relationships.
Yeah.
So you may record it?
Yeah, we have done a first recording, and I think Jane has used that in Australia. I think she kind of pressed. She was performing with her husband, who's a guitar player and musician. They were performing it on a festival, I know, and she wanted to press a CD to have and give to people at that festival. But we stay in contact, and so there's still an idea of making a more worked through recording of it. It's a great song. I keep returning to it myself, and now and then, and there's really something in there that I like.
Yeah, well, you have a big fan here of that song, so I
Wow,
certainly enjoyed it.
that's great to hear. So then there's one more strong reason for doing a proper recording of it. Yeah.
All right, I'll play a bit of that song at the end as well. Of course, we don't have a professional recording of that. That's going to be from the end of your retreat when you did your final
Okay.
concert. So,
Oh.
one of the things I'm loving about talking to you today, I'm loving so many parts of our conversation, but I'm really loving how you have stayed so connected with this group. And
Mm,
when I reached out to you and said, "Hey, let's, I really want to put something together with these messages you guys left me, but I'm struggling to do that. I think
mm,
I got to go back and just talk to you individually."
mm.
And you were so agreeable to do so. And while we were talking about that, I'm going through your social media, which everyone, I will have links to Stefan's Instagram, Facebook, website, Spotify, all the things. So you're going to be able to find his music after this interview. So don't
Great.
worry, you'll be able to connect with him. But as I'm doing it, I'm flipping through your Instagram, right? And all of a sudden I see Kristina suddenly in
Mhm.
Sweden singing with you.
Mhm.
And you guys have a song coming out, right? And so I've already said
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan
Yeah.
of Christina's. I've seen her perform live when I was at the American Pilgrims on the Camino gathering 2 years ago. And I've interviewed Christina a couple of times. So I'm a huge fan of her. So when I got to see the two of you singing together, I was like, hey, like they're still connected. And now I'm finding out that you're still connected with Felix, you're still connected with Jane. I mean, that is such a powerful part, I think, of Camino and retreats in itself. But let's talk a little bit about this collaboration with Kristina, because you
Mhm.
just released a song I'm enjoying so much. It's already on Spotify, so I'll have a link directly to
Mhm.
that song. But can you just share with us how that came about and how you're feeling about these connections that you continue to have? I mean, you and Kristina met a couple of years ago on retreat,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
wow, now you're professionally recording together. That's pretty cool.
Mm, mm. That yeah, it's great. I really enjoy collaborating with Christina, and she's such a nice person, and she was here. Me and my wife, we are arranging home concerts in our living room now that our children has moved away, and we're sitting in a kind of a big house. And okay, what do we do now? But why not have concerts at home also? So it's more like private concerts with like we can have like an audience of 55 people approximately. So Christina was here now in December, the 13th of December, and she played some of her songs, and I joined her, and then we performed Dear Lester, the song that we wrote together also. And that was super nice. We wrote that song on the retreat that I was talking about on Gotland
Oh,
in earlier in 2024. So that was like half a year before I went to the Camino.
Wow. So was Christina leading that retreat, that first one you went to, or was she someone
She
that was
was
in
just
attendance?
she was just attending it. Yeah.
Just attending it. So you
Yeah.
first met up as
Yeah.
attendees.
Yeah. True.
Wow. And so Dear Lester began to take shape there.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like you probably have understood it. It's a story from Christina about a person she knew when she was living in another place in New Mexico. So it's a story about an old man sitting in a wheelchair that she got to know, and then they really never said goodbye. So that's why she's writing him a letter in this form. Uh,
It's a beautiful song.
yeah,
Really
yeah,
beautiful.
mm.
Well done.
Yeah. I think he meant a lot to her at that time of life. So it's yeah. Mm. Mm.
Wow. So looking back, we're going to kind of, I guess, come to a close. I think I could talk to you forever, but I know
So
that.
super nice to talk. So I'm in no hurry.
Okay, good, good. Well, then let me say, I love this idea of the concerts at your house. I didn't realize
Yeah.
it was at your house and the footage is
Yeah.
beautiful. It's just
Yeah.
wonderful. What a cool idea.
Yeah. I'm actually going. We had some text messages just yesterday and today actually because we're planning of me going to. She's in Helsinki now for 2 years, working at the university, and she's been doing some music there also and performing. So I'm gonna go there either now in springtime or in September. And we're planning on writing something together again and maybe doing some kind of performance also. So
Wow,
yeah. Mm.
so cool. Okay, so I want to make sure we talk about maybe just a couple of more topics before
Mhm.
we end. I'm wondering for other folks who have a creative impulse, maybe they're
Mhm.
singer-songwriters, maybe they're book writers, maybe they're
Mhm.
whatever their calling is. I wonder
Mhm.
if you have any tips or things you'd want to share with somebody maybe that hasn't walked a Camino and how
Mhm.
you think by walking a Camino or possibly going to one of Christina's future songwriting retreats,
Mhm.
how would that possibly help them in their creativity and in their growth, even as a person?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I guess it. I mean, if we're talking about somebody who maybe hasn't done that so much or been thinking about doing it for a long time, I guess the starting point is to I mean, taking it seriously and making a decision. Okay, this is something that obviously I want to do. I'm longing for doing it. So just taking it seriously and understanding that this must mean something for me, and it's important to do this. I guess that's the starting point, and then going to a retreat, a writing retreat of any kind. I think it's a good starting point because then there's I mean, a writing retreat is about writing. So you will, it will give you plenty of time and space to just try out things. And out of my experience of different retreats, it's a very nurturing and allowing atmosphere. It's not about succeeding or making things perfect. It's more about trying out, exploring, and just see what comes out of this. So that's a good starting point. I would also add that in general, wanting to write or wanting to create something, uh, taking it seriously and then trying to do it regularly. I mean, like doing it for maybe 15 minutes every day or something, or every day that is possible. When it comes to songwriting, there are many fantastic books and teachers, both in books and online, and they often talk about, for instance, there's a concept called morning pages, where you're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to write something every morning before you start with all your doings and your chores. And I can't say that I really have succeeded so well in doing that, but I've done it a few times, and that really, yeah, that's a really good way, a good tip, doing it like that. Just doing it regularly. It doesn't have to be so many hours or anything like that, but having contact with your creative side regularly.
Excellent.
But
Well, I think
isn't, yeah.
no, I think what you said about, that time on the retreat, it's not about being perfect, it's about exploring, it's about a
Mhm,
curiosity, it's about all these
mhm,
things. And I feel like that's why retreats work so well on the Camino
mhm,
because
mhm,
they're very
mhm.
similar,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And I imagine it just makes a Camino, it's kind of a Camino with steroids, like it
Mhm,
just makes the
mhm,
Camino even stronger because you're having these two symbiotic
mhm, mhm.
experiences that really
Yep.
go well together.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's end with you. You said earlier, I think, that you think you'll walk the Camino again, and maybe by
Mhm.
retreat
Yeah,
or
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
a Camino on its own. What would you say, like now sitting here with me today,
Hmm.
what's your best memory from that experience?
Hmm. There are there are a lot of good memories, but to answer that question, I guess there were some moments when we were all of us, or more or less all of us together, like in the evenings, when at some of the albergues that we were staying at, they were serving us dinner, and we were eating together with the owners of that albergue, and it was a very, yeah, I mean, people were also, we were tired. I've been walking or working the whole day, and then getting together around the table. There was some moments that was really great. Uh, I mean, being in a group when the group is healthy, and healthy in the psychological, social way, and everybody is open and supportive, and wants everybody to be in the group, and that's really strong. That's strong memories, definitely, from the Camino. It's nice to be. I mean, it's different. It's difficult to compare things. I mean, I really appreciate also, like we were talking about the day I was walking on my own, etc. But I think that's also the big thing to shift between that. I think that's a good. I would say it's a good sign of a good group, a group that a group allows you to be in the center of it, and it allows you to go out if you want that, and you're welcome back. I think
Mm,
that's kind of a definition of what makes a group healthy and good.
I agree.
You can be in the middle, and you're allowed to go out, and you're welcome back.
Yeah, I think that's the very definition of a Camino family on the Camino, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
You had the beauty of my very first Camino also was with a group. And I think
Hmm.
when you are with a group, you immediately have a Camino family.
Yeah, yeah.
Although that doesn't guarantee that everybody's going to get along, right? But you
No,
hope,
true, 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 true.
But let's hope most of the times it does. But if you don't already have that container of a ready-made group, it
Mm.
kind of naturally forms on the Camino. And the beautiful thing about the Camino, I think, is that we are all called to it to walk on our own. And there's this beautiful way of coming into group and going out of group and coming back. And
Mhm.
I don't know, that doesn't seem to happen maybe as much in real life as it does on the Camino, or maybe we
Mhm.
don't feel as welcome to come and go, right? And so there's this beautiful freedom on the Camino that I've always found. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm glad
Mhm.
you brought that up.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, my last question for you is this. You walked in October of 2024. Here we sit, just one
Mhm.
month into 26.
Mhm.
When you look at your life back then compared to today, how has Stefan the man changed, as
Mhm.
well as the musician, singer, songwriter?
Mhm.
That you
Mhm.
would say, you know, that experience I had on retreat on the Camino
Mhm.
changed me in these ways. Would there be anything that you would say?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a big question. I think first I think that there's a reason why I choose to go on this retreat and go on the Camino at that point of life. There was something I wanted. I think I was kind of ready for it. And hmm, I've it's some it's connected to something about being more clear of um what's the word for it, to value life and being thankful for what you got.
Mm.
I think that's for me at least, and something that I've talked a lot with my wife about also. I mean, I just turned 63 yesterday, and my wife is
Oh, happy birthday.
thank you. And my wife is 2 years younger, and our kids have moved away, and this theme of okay, we're older now, and life is not going to go on forever. Uh, but it's also helpful to realize that, to really appreciate what we have right now. And I think that when you're asking what this Camino pilgrim walk meant for me, I it was one more opportunity to really get in contact with that and to dwell upon what's important here in life.
Well, I
Something, yeah, it's so easy to lose sight of it in our daily life, isn't it? So much going on, so much, and but to do a thing like that is to stepping out of, and then you can get a new perspective, or sharpen your perspective, I guess. Yeah.
and I love the simplicity that the biggest thing you took away from it is
Mm.
gratitude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
But
really
yeah, it's important. It's, yeah, gratitude and being thankful for what you got. I mean, we can still try to get more or go further in our lives, but also look at, but I got all this and I've had this life. It's fantastic.
well, I don't think we can top that answer.
Okay.
I love that. And I've loved having this opportunity to get to know you better. And I so appreciate you coming on here and talking about all these different experiences you had on the Camino. And thank you for being so willing to send me the messages on your Camino. It's inspired me to think about other ways that I can do this with future
Mhm.
pilgrims, as well as when I go and walk,
Yeah.
to talk about the things that happened. And yeah, thank you for all your vulnerability and sharing today. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
And now that you mentioned these messages, I just came to think that it I would say that it did add to the experience of being to the Camino, because when we were supposed to send these messages to you, it was, I mean, it took a moment of reflection. Okay, so what shall I talk to Lee about now then? Okay, what's been important today? How can I express myself around this? So thanks for letting us do that. It added to the experience, really.
Oh, that's so cool to know. Okay, well, that's it for our interview today. But as promised, as our bonus content, we have the songs that we talked about during the interview coming up next. The first two are professional recordings, and the last one was recorded at the final concert of the retreat.
Come on in, let's sit down and have a coffee or a glass of wine. When you walked in through that door, well, you seem troubled. Won't you tell me more?
Well, I haven't seen her for quite a while. There's a growing distance as the weeks go by. My love keeps texting, but her heart is free. She's looking for something, might not be me. Hearts on the table, searching for some truth. Hearts on the table, somehow we'll get through. But for now, a cortado in your company is fine. Yes, for now, a moment for our thoughts to intertwine. And that's just fine for you and me.
Well, I have no answers, that's the way love goes. I guess you gotta hold on to what you really know.
My cup is empty, but for me, my friend, just sitting here talking got me back again.
Well, my kids moved out, I didn't see it coming. Just me and my wife now in that old house. And it all got quiet, made me kind of scared. What if our fire will no longer be there?
Well, I have no answers, that's the way love goes. Guess you gotta hold on to what you really know.
My coffee's empty, so let's have some wine. Just sitting here talking, make me feel so fine.
Hearts on the table, searching for some truth. Hearts on the table, somehow we get through. But for now, a cortado in your company for now. A moment for our thoughts to intertwine. And that's just fine for you and me. 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 You and me. For you and me. For you and me.
Dear Lester, writing you this letter. Do you remember me at all? I know I never called. I was new to town. You were wheelchair bound. You offered me a hand, this gentle older man. Parking lot attendant, shaking everybody's hand, smiling while in pain. Resilience was your name. I won't forget those words you said. Life moves sunwise, spirals in the sky. Dear Lester, there was something priceless when you took me to your ranch, asking about the band, gave me a place to land. Last time I saw you there, wish I'd said yacht air. Too caught up to shake the shade, hiding in my own pain. You gifted me firm feet on desert ground, permission to make a home. You were in every decay I grow. I won't forget those words you said. Life moves sunwise, spirals in the sky. the drawbridge forever. Can we talk? Can we walk? Can I explain? I tasted hope on your skin that first time we met. Sweet as believing the feeling could last. How did it happen? This ungracious fall into darkness. Was it you? Was it me? Was it us?
I played my part. I wasn't always there, wasn't always fair. Now I see all that we had, all of the love we made, all of the dues you paid in service to me.
We are the authors of fear in our children's eyes, never intending to cause them such pain. Can you imagine the burden on such tiny shoulders? Tell me how, tell me why, tell me again.
I played my part. I wasn't always there, wasn't always fair. Now I see all that we had, all of the love we shared, and all of those dues you paid in service to me. Will we dance again? Will we still be friends? Come take hold my hand. I played my part, but I wasn't always there, wasn't always fair. Now I see all that we had, all of the love we made, all those dues you paid